Okay, so I just invited Ron Van Dyke to come on live. I think I did this right. I just watched a YouTube video of how to do this. Okay, so he was wondering if I was going to talk about the cabals. It's not a topic I usually like to talk about. In fact, it's probably one of the reasons I stopped the Rising Planet show. But what I will stress on is the illusion in the matrix of it and the state of mind and state of being, which is another topic of um, articles I'm writing about. Let me invite some friends on. So wait a second. Do, 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 do. Okay. Hi, Spencer. How are you? Um, okay, so I was just explaining that Ron had just a friend of mine was just doing a little introduction to my event for June 10th, but he was asking me about if I would be talking about the cabals on the live broadcast, and I won't be, but because it's not a topic that I'm usually comfortable talking about. But I will stress on a few things about it. So I'll start off with the matrix, which is one of the topics that I am doing right now on my my blog articles. I will be posting more of that shortly after my event takes place. So I'll start off with the matrix. The matrix is about controlling the planet. It's not really about controlling the people. I know this how this sounds, but it's about the planet. These people or these beings have been here for thousands of years, since maybe Roman times, if not a bit before. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. My son. Okay, so the Matrix is a prison planet. It's where the planet is being held in bondage, in a prison, unable to grow and evolve the way she should be in a natural state. Okay? These beings have been around for a very long time. They are extremely intelligent. Underestimating them would be probably most people's mistakes in the past, and some still do today, but they're not that intelligent because they vibrate on a lower frequency, on a lower vibration. Their whole purpose is to control this planet, to have this planet. They can't live here with all these trees and fresh water, and they have to have everything dead. Okay, so the destruction that's been happening with the planet is part of their plan on taking over the planet. But how are they going to do that? Well, they can't enslave 8 billion people. They're not. They're intelligent, but they're not that intelligent. So let's make that clear. They're not that intelligent because they only create through fear, and it's not making us fear. They're literally thriving off of their own fear of us. So how do you think they're going to enslave people? By enslaving yourselves, by playing in their games. For example, do you know that everything that has been done because we played into the games, such as wars, mass shootings, and the very moment that we react, we give away everything that we have. So we go out and we stomp the ground and we get angry and we start fighting, and then it becomes violent and we start to protest and things like that. Everything, people talk about a revolution. I'm going to explain to you what a revolution means, because through history, a revolution has always taken place. And it's a rise up against the monarchy, the governments, and so forth and so forth. But a revolution means that it never ends. Do you know how long we've been in the same revolution? For almost 3,000 years. The same war for thousands of years. That's a revolution. It never, ever ends. What the Matrix teaches is how to make you fear yourself. It separates yourself through using your energy as a tool. It's a great war machine. The greatest nuclear bomb is our energy. They harvest our energy and they use it. By harvesting the earth, the uranium, the coals, the gold, the oil, the water. That's part of us. That's what we are. We are part of every mineral. And so they use that energy and they use it against us. The illusion is that everybody believes and hopes for the best. That's the illusion. Everybody believes in the land of make-believe and hope for the best, that a miracle will come and someone will save them. Well, that has not been working. That's the illusion. The illusion of we need them. We depend on them. And we do. We depend on their teachers to teach our kids. We depend on their doctors to treat us if we're sick, even though we die about 99% of the time. We depend on them to pay us for jobs, which we have a full-time job from the time that we are born, which is taking care of this planet. It's a full-time job. Do you know how hard that job is? It is probably the most excruciating job you'll ever have. I've done it. And then you have, we depend on religion to tell us who we are, because, we don't really know who we are. So we have to be told that, if we're doing something wrong, that we're going to go to hell. And if we're doing great, then, we're going to go to heaven. But, if we're not doing so great, then we might go to purgatory or some shit like that. That's an illusion. Everything that has ever been told to you was told to you in an illusion to stop you from figuring out who you are. The moment that people figure out who they are, that's the very moment they figure out who they are, because it's not the first time we have encountered these beings before. It's just that we don't remember who they are. And that has put humanity on a scale of extermination. people, I mean, animals are on, you know, the endangered species list, but humanity is on the endangered species list because, while we need this planet, as long as this planet is being invaded, we are on that endangered list. The illusion is, it stops you from figuring it out. These cabals, or today, well, that's their new name, is cabals, but they change their names every couple of 100 years, so that it confuses the masses. You know, um, my father's from the islands, and in African nations, we're very, very educated. We know our history, we know our roots, and you'll hear a lot of us talk about Babylon, the land of Babylon. Even Bob Marley sings about it. He talks about it. Well, but that's because we know who they are. We can identify who they are. We can tell the world what their names are. That's what this awakening is about. It's about discovering who you are, discovering what the illusion is, and understanding that the matrix is done by them, but it's also done by us. So we all have a part to play in this whole game, universal game. These people or beings, you know, some of them call them Anunnakis, some of them call them Babylonians, then they're called, you know, Khazars, then they're called the Illuminatis, or before they're called the Knight Templars. What are they called today? Cabals. It's just to confuse the people, to keep themselves hidden, because the greatest fear that they have is for everybody to figure out who they are and what they are. We are the biggest threat. They're not a threat to us if we don't allow them to be. We are the biggest threat to them. And that their actions prove it, because every action that they take it upon their own fear and paranoia. It's gotten so paranoid that, you know, they're fighting amongst each other, and killing each other off. I say, go right ahead. It's complicated because, hi Shelley, how are you? Glad that you're here. It's just, we all have responsibilities too, because we all have a part to play with the illusion and the matrix. I mean, if we wanted them to be gone, they would be gone. It's just that we have to regain our independence. You know, I mean, I'm going to give you an example. And a lot of you guys are going to like say, what the hell? Okay, so I'm going to speak specifically to the Americans, because the Americans do not know what had just happened between Prince Harry, and Meghan. That marriage is no good. Didn't you guys have your independence from Britain, from old King George? Well, marriage signed the deal that you guys just literally allowed that marriage to happen, because the Queen did announce at one time during the rise up in the Occupy movement that if the Americans don't stop their shit, she's going to take it back. While that marriage is a marriage to England, to the Britons. So I don't understand. So you see, that's part of the matrix. That's part of the illusions. They're tricksters. and they're good at it. When I see this relationship flow, I'm thinking, okay, how many Americans is going to realize what had just happened? So, the war in 1812 was just an illusion, because you've always been married to old King George, and Prince Harry and that Meghan signed the deal. Okay? So now America is now once again, like Canada, a British colony. Did you see how that was done? I watched the whole thing from beginning to end, and I was just waiting for any Americans to pick up on what had just happened. That's the Matrix. They are intelligent. Okay, we have to be more intelligent to see behind the curtains. We've got to wake up into, out of our stupidity and our closed-minded minds, and see the illusion behind the curtains. If I can see it, I don't understand why anybody else can see what had just happened. Okay? So that's the Matrix. They've been around for thousands and thousands of years. And every year they change their names just to confuse people, the mass. Those that know who they are dying to tell you who they are. They're being killed to tell you who they are. Palestine is dying. Syria is dying to tell you to wake the fuck up. They are sacrificing their whole entire civilization. Iraq doesn't have a civilization anymore because they're giving birth to uranium babies. They are a dead race. They died out trying to wake everybody up. There are people in countries that are dying to wake humanity up, and not just waking up and just some spiritual woo-woo stuff into reality, because the reality is there is an illusion of the awakening, and then there is the reality of it. Because in reality of it, you're walking in truth. You're seeing the truth. You're seeing behind the curtains. It's not just all about love, love, love. It's about understanding it and bringing awareness to the public. Because obviously there wasn't an awareness about what just happened between America and England. So what kind of threat is America in because of that marriage? And whether, he's probably never going to be king, or she's probably never going to be queen, doesn't matter. That's a signed deal. That's like almost signing death certificates. Because you see, we know this here in Canada about what it means to be married to Britain. Because here, I'll bring in another awareness: the missing and murdered Indigenous women. Children, over 70,000 children are in foster care because they can. Kidnapping children here is legalized. You can't even call the police to tell them that, CAS just kidnapped my kids off the park, and I had no idea why. Well, that's a family matter. So this is part of the illusion. This is part of the Matrix. This is part of what you want to call themselves the New World Order. Okay? So it's not just about waking up and just seeing rainbows and roses. It's waking up and smelling all the shit in between. Because if you're not, then you are severely in danger yourself by other beings that would like to seduce you into making yourselves allegiant to them. And that kind of just happened with the wedding of Harry and Meghan. I mean, that's that. I would have put up a stink against that, and I'm surprised Americans didn't do that, considering, you know, their supposed war of independence. But you guys really never had an independence. How would you know? So those are tricksters. That's all they are. But if you wanted to change it, you're going to have to change the way you look at each other, the way you deal with each other, and the way you think about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you think about yourself, and push that vibration, force it upon, because you can't do it anymore just gradually, because it's being forced upon. So don't get confused about the names, because they do change their names. Next year they'll probably be called something else. It's the same beings changing their names, but it is the same entities. They are the same peoples. Okay? And how can you tell if how can you tell who they are? How can you see it? Well, have you looked at them lately? And their human like in human meat suit? I mean, have you seen the Queen? Like, really looked at her? Or how about Philip, Charles, William? Have you seen like actually like looked at them? Their meat suits can no longer contain them because the Earth's frequency is revealing them. So the meat suits, that their human form is literally breaking down. I've been noticing that for the past couple of years. I'm thinking, holy crap, that's really gross. I mean, that's pretty nasty crap, really. But you can see them for who and what they really are. What they really are. It's not who, it's what they are. You can see them. Have you seen the Bilderbergs lately? Like, take a look at their physical appearance. The more that the Earth is vibrating higher and higher and higher, the more that her frequencies become explosive, and so does our DNA changes. The only thing that doesn't change is them, because they don't have the DNA like we do. They're not organic. Organic means that you are the DNA of earth and sky. That's organic DNA. And that's how you can tell who they are, just by looking at them. Even Obama looks much, much more like them now. Although I already knew that when he first became president. But even now, you can see it, because their DNA is not organic. And if you don't have organic DNA, the meat suit that you put on is not going to last. Eventually that meat suit is going to break down. And you can see it. It's freaking nasty. It's like yuck. It's like snakes shedding off their skins. It's exactly what it is. It's gross. Okay? But that's what it is. It's knowing that there is something going on, and it's not being ignorant and stupid and ignoring the facts that there is problems and situations that we need to solve, and yes, we can solve it with love when we have to, but we also have to take aggressive actions, because there are more and more and more children being taken. There's more people that are suffering. There is more that this planet is suffering, and if the planet is suffering and dying, then so are we. So yes, we can be love, but we have to be aggressive, because at the end of the day, if you walk in truth and you live and breathe in truth and you sleep in truth and you eat with truth, you cannot be fooled by tricksters. It's be impossible. You should be able to see through everything by now, through everything of their ways of doing things, because the war tactics has not changed. It's the same war tactics that they have been using for thousands of years. The very same. So I don't really like talking too much about these type of entities, because talking about them, I feel that it gives them some sort of power, because that's my energy giving them that kind of, power. But it's bringing an awareness, conscious awareness of every action you take feeds them your power, and that's why they keep staying here. They cannot live without us. Okay, so it's about bringing about an awareness, so that you be mindful of your energies and be mindful of the actions that you take and the reactions that you take, because every action that is not done with clear and coherent thoughts becomes a problem, a growing problem. And that's part of learning. It's, freeing your mind. Freeing your mind from the matrix, you have to think clear and coherently. Clear and coherent thoughts is free thinking. It's the energy that flows like this. It just flows. Okay? Believing is the Pandora box. It keeps you in a box. And that's all you know. Believe, 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 because it only allows you to have that one mind thought. But when you're thinking freely and you're thinking coherently, then your mind is universal. That's what it means to have universal mind. That's what gets you out of the matrix. That's what brings you from illusion to reality, is freeing your mind, knowing that it's okay to believe, but it's not okay to believe so much that it turns into an illusion. Okay. Another thing is, when you want to free your mind, I mean, that's taking a step back and becoming maybe silent and observing everything around you. It's like Alice in the Wonderland, going through the rabbit hole to figure out what's an illusion and what's reality. The same context. Okay? The Matrix is a bit different because it's hectic. It's a lot more poison here. It's inhabitable. It's a lot more chaos, but you don't really have a choice. Well, you do have a choice. You can sit here and experience Armageddon, or you can change, or you can, turn the light switch on. Right? You can turn up the volume. It's like, you could change your reality. Every time you flick that remote on the TV channel, you're changing the reality, right? Well, it's the same thing with here. You can change the reality by flipping on the switch, turning on the light, turning up the volume, turning up so loud that that's the only volume you hear. And down here becomes nothing but white noise. It's why I don't watch TV, because I don't understand the words that they're coming out of their mouths anymore. It's just white noise to me. So breaking free of the illusion requires hard work. And you can't be denying that things that do not exist. There's a lot of suffering still. There's a lot of genocide that is happening. There's genocide in America that people still don't care about because, well, they're, you know, like Canada, racist, the discrimination, right? So that's all part of it to keep you separated, right? When we want true unity, people are going to have to realize it's not a black and white issue. It's not a Muslim and Christian issue. It's a human being issue. It's a human spirit issue. It is a Mother Earth issue. It's a fucking universal issue. That's the issue. It's not whether I'm fat or ugly or I'm black and you're white. Who cares, right? But people only look at that, and so the cycle of illusion, the cycle of duality, and the cycle of the matrix will continue. And the tricksters know this because the tricksters can play that card. They've always have, right? And if you know your history, if you really know the truth of your history, you will understand and see that nothing has changed since those times. Nothing. Because if it had, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it today. We would have been evolved. We would have been up here instead of all the way down here. Makes sense? If you guys have any questions, please feel free. Hi, Sean. How are you? Hi, Kathleen. Hi everybody. Much love and light to you. Again, if you have questions, don't be shy. Ask away, okay? So yeah, that's what it is. It's just, like I said, I don't like talking about the cabals at all. I try to avoid that as much as possible. But I just thought, okay, well, my friend Ron mentioned it, so I'll just get it out of the way, and I'm not going to have another conversation about it again. This will be like the video for the next series here. This will be it. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about them, but I felt the need to do this to bring awareness that, you know, there is situations and there is an illusion of the awakening that is happening, and then there is an illusion of, the reality of the awakening process. And, it's not easy road because you have so much, I guess, temptations, so much people in your business, so much people, it's just too much. But the thing is that we are 8 billion people, plus our ancestors from the spiritual world. And these goons are only a handful. That's it. Oops. Okay. Hold on here. Something went wrong with my live feed. Okay, sorry about that. Something went wrong with my live feed. Sorry about that. Okay, so, hi Robert, how are you? These people have been around a long time. They're only a fraction of the population. They're not even part. We are 8 billion people. That's 8 billion. That's a small number. You may think it's but the spirit world outpopulates us. So we have 8 billion people plus all of our ancestors, okay? And they are only a handful of people. These entities are only a handful of people, swear to God. That's it. So it's like 2018 and we're making improvements, but we should be making a lot more. I can say we can do a whole lot better. We could do better because there's still issues that needs to be addressed and it needs to be dealt with. And people by now shouldn't be going to the governments. That's great, Robert. I'm glad you're fine. I'm great too. We should be doing better. We can. Because if there is here in Canada, there's over 70,000 children that are in care, they're being sold into, all over the world into different sex trades and they're being put into prisons because there's so many children, they don't know what to do anymore. I mean, that's the issue, right? Because no one wants to talk about it. I hear everybody talking about, animal abuse and things like that, but I don't hear enough people talking about what's going to happen to the next generation. Outside from this, the matrix and the illusion, that's only the distraction. The real problems is with us, is that we can't seem to be able to cope with brutal truth and the brutality of honesty, is that we're fucked. And that's reality, right? Because we are responsible, my generation, our generation, the seventh generation, is the last. We are the ancestors of all the next 7 generations that we are responsible for. That means your children and all of their children after that, we are responsible for. I don't know how people sometimes would like to have that kind of burden and still be denying reality, because I know for a fact if I did that, I don't think I could sleep at night. And usually I don't sleep at night because I'm thinking about having solutions to the problems that we're facing. I sleep less if I do, because I'm not a sleeper anyways. But sometimes that keeps me up at night. So it's a matter of doing what needs to be done regardless, because a time will come where we have to choose to be on the right side of history. And that is doing what needs to be done at whatever cost that may come out of it. And that's the reality. And no one wants an outcome like that. But in order for that not to happen, we have to do better. We have to bring awareness. We have to, take direct, intelligent actions and bring about solutions. And that's not being that is getting rid of the matrix. That's getting rid of the illusion. That's getting rid of all that garbage. And it's not just, we can raise our vibrations, but we still have to be aggressive because there are still issues. And when you are awakened, as I hear a lot of people claim to be, you will know that there are issues that needs to be dealt with. You're not going to be hiding it with the illusion of love, because there's a reality and then there's the illusion of love too. Because if you love something, you're going to do what needs to be done regardless. Right? When it comes to the earth, if my, people tell me, okay, it's time to fight and defend this planet, and I mean really fight to defend this planet, I will do what needs to be done, because I'm only here for the earth and for the next 7 generations. That's it. And who's ever come in the crossfire, that's not my problem. It's this earth and it's the children. That's my only concern. So when it comes to fighting for what's right, know what's right. Know what you're fighting about. Economy is gone. What's the economy? Money don't grow on trees. Money don't make the world go round. This earth used to go round. People have full-time jobs. Do you see the planet, how she is? Have you seen how she looks like? I have never seen, this planet is in the most, this planet has never been this damaged in all of her existence, ever, recorded. That was man-made. Our children are going to have to, our children, their children, and their children's children are going to have to pay for that. Right? So when you don't know what the illusion is and you don't know what the matrix is, then you don't really know what the hell you're fighting about. You're fighting for freedom, but what the hell do you know about freedom? Free, dumb. Dumb. Dum-dums. Dummies. Sovereignty is different. Sovereignty means responsibility. Right? So you're fighting for something that you don't even know what it is because you never experienced it before. And these tricksters know this. Right? So you're fighting for a government to claim freedom. But no government and no man can give you your freedom. Does that make any sense? It can't. Because the only way to have the only way to have your free will is that you have to earn it from this earth. She gives you your freedom. Our ancestors had freedom because they respected the universal laws. Universal laws is the only freedom you will ever know. That's freedom. It just, people have an illusion of freedom. People believe that freedom means that I can, your land, because I bought this land is mine. But it's not your land. The earth isn't for sale. It's to be shared. Or I bought, now people can buy a star. What the hell is that to have a star named after them so they could buy a star for like a couple $1 billion? So now the stars are for sale. Right? You have to buy water because why do you have to buy water? You should be able to drink it out of the river. Right? But you can't do that because it's contaminated. But you buy water because now that water doesn't belong to the earth. It doesn't belong to the people. It belongs to the cabals. Right? So people are fighting for something that, that they're fighting for all kinds of things that I really don't understand. And that's why, for myself, I stopped protesting. I stopped protesting because I came to a point where I didn't really understand what it was I was doing on the streets. I didn't understand it after a while because it didn't make sense anymore. So when you want to wake up, you're going to have to wake up into this reality. And knowing that addressing these situations, not complaining about it, but making awareness of it and putting things into action, that's when real change can happen. People always want to hold, the governments and stuff like that responsible. But at the end of the day, aren't we all responsible for the hell that we have created? right? No one really wants, and that's another issue that the Matrix, will tell you that, it's not blaming blame, but it's taking responsibility for the energies we give out freely and that we put out there freely. Because energy is everything. Energy creates everything. If we sat here today and talked about hate all day long and really start fueling the hate and really start, all this hate talk and stuff, what do you think that just created? Another reality. Another war. Another problem. More suffering. So it's not putting blame, but it is taking your own responsibilities. And that's what humanity can't do yet, but they're going to have to do it soon because time is running out for us. Take responsibility for your own actions. And that means thoughts and emotions. What you put out there turns always into actions. Some way, somehow, it turns into actions. And everything is manifested. And everything that's manifested is mirrored back to you. It's a reflection back to you. So whatever that we create and whatever chaos that comes out of it, that will be the reflection back onto us. That's karma. Right? I did a section on karma. Okay, a video, so I'm not going to go into that. I'll post that up, or you can go, I'll post it up so that you guys can see that. But that's karma. Everything that we do we will get back 10 times worse. And we are experiencing 10 times worse. So to break the cycle, take responsibility for your actions. That's breaking the cycle. Thinking clearly and coherently. I'm not a believer. People always ask me this question, what do I believe? I think that's a question a friend of mine did ask, and we were having a conversation. He said, well, what do you believe in? And I told him, what do you mean? He goes, well, do you believe in anything? I go, no. I don't even believe the work that I'm doing. I don't believe the words that I'm saying. Because I'm a free thinker. I'm a dreamer. I'm a thinker. I don't allow my mind to be in that box, contained, and that energy never going anywhere. I don't have a one-track mind. I have a universal mind that never sleeps. And when you are thinking clearly and coherently and have that universal connection, that's breaking the cycle. That's breaking the reality. That's breaking the matrix and the illusion. That's seeing everything in a full glass. And when you're just waking up, you're only seeing a quarter of it. But as you go through the motions, as you go through everything, and you start thinking clearly and coherently without the disturbance of the outside world, then you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about, that and the understanding of it. Because there are many people around the world that are being annihilated to make you understand that you're living in a dream world. And the reality is, is a lot more real than the illusion right now. And the more that you raise your vibrations and the more that you become connected, ignorance is bliss. That's what I always like to say. Ignorance is bliss. You can't be ignorant. You can't say that I didn't know what happened. You want to talk about a unification, well, then you have to say, okay, these are my children. I have children, but I see millions of children as my children being slaughtered, being, exploited. Okay, I look at my, I have siblings, but I have 8 billion brothers and sisters that are out there fighting for their lives. I have 8 billion brothers and sisters that are giving their lives for a cause of waking people up. They're sacrificing their lives. I have 8 billion people, brothers and sisters, and mothers and fathers. And that's a unification. That's a universal mind. You don't think about anything other than that. It's not a color. It's not a culture issue. It's not, who's more religious and who's more spiritual and, who is more empathic and who isn't. It's about being a goddamn human being and doing what you came here to do. And if you're not doing what you come here to do, then be quiet and let everybody else do what they need to do. That's as simple as it is. People are really distracted about the illusion and the matrix that they don't see anything good that is happening. And that drives the illusion to go upward and forward. There's so much good that is happening. There's so many people doing such miracles, such beautiful things. And I don't ever see them getting recognized. I see more about Trump and what he's doing than I do see about, who fed the homeless today, or who saved a dog yesterday, or who took the time to spend with an elderly person, or who took the time to change a person's life. Those things matter. So that's another way that we break the matrix. We promote these things, make awareness that, of the good that's being done. And there's a lot more good than there is bad. People don't see that because they're so focused on, the cabals. And at this time, who cares about them? It's our responsibility to look after our own. It's our responsibility to look after every child on this planet. It's our responsibility, not the government's responsibility. So we are failing them. We are failing them. It's our responsibility to make sure that something is preserved from this planet for the next 7 generations, which is nothing much anymore. So that's the consequences we will pay from our children. Right? There is a prophecy that says, okay, that if we do not preserve something for our children will turn around and box us in our ears and throw us out in the street, meaning they will become our enemies. Because our children are watching everything we do. Our children are watching everything that we do not do. Our children are watching every action, every energy, everything. And if you think that they're not, then you're not paying attention to your kids enough. Because they are watching every moment, every second. Because they are the next 7 generations. So when it comes to the illusion, and when it comes to the matrix, and then you put those things into perspective, you would say, okay, well, I need to change something so that this doesn't happen again, so that they don't repeat our mistakes. And that's, getting rid of the matrix and illusion is admitting that, okay, we made mistakes and we have to change that, and we have to teach that to our kids so that they don't repeat it in the future. So that's about it. That's the matrix and illusion. They are the same entities. Nothing. They have been using the same war tactics for thousands of years. It hasn't changed their war tactics. It's just that people are not recognizing them. America, you're in a bit of in a shithole right now because that marriage just puts you onto the Queen's throne. Good luck with that, because we in Canada, there's a lot of people in Canada that like the Queen, but then there are those that would like to bring it down. So, become more aware about everything. It's not focusing on the distraction. It's being aware of everything that happens at every given time, and bring it into an awareness so that people can sit and think for themselves about what you're saying. Okay, and for Americans, I want you to sit and think about what I'm saying. I don't want you to believe in anything I say, because that's not what I do. I want you guys to think for yourselves. And for Americans, right now, that marriage, and I'm going to tell you, is going to be the greatest mistake. You think Trump is bad? In this generation, you haven't experienced the Queen yet. In Canada, we experience the Queen every day, because genocide here in Canada is very much alive. So this is going to be a new challenge for Americans, for all Americans. You think Trump is something? Wait till she gets her hooks in. And that marriage gave her the power to get her hooks into that country again. So become aware, become fully awakened, now more than ever, and do what needs to be done in the right way. In the right way. Because the matrix is not dead yet. The illusion is not dead yet, but it can be. It just now, we got to fight with love, but we got to be aggressive. We got to do what needs to be done, regardless of what it costs. Because this is not about you and me. This isn't about. This has nothing to do between you and me. It has to do with the protection and defending this planet, and the protection defending all of our children. That's what this boils down to. So that's the topic of illusion. That's the talk about the cabals, or whatever you want to call them today. I call them parasites, because that's exactly what they are. They are parasites. To get rid of parasites, you got to cleanse them out. And they cannot vibrate on the same level as you. So if you ever want to do a protest, don't go in yelling. Just go in there with the highest vibration, the highest frequency. Try a protest of no talking. Don't bring any boards. Don't bring your magic markers, because you're buying into the illusion, right? Every time you go on protest, you have to buy those magic markers and those cardboards, right? So you're paying to do something that's supposed to be right? So try something of silence. Maybe walk in silence. Maybe why don't you guys try and hold hands and be silent and let the universe speak. Let others hear the universe. Try that out, because this constant yelling, it's not doing anything. I can promise you that, because all that energy that's being poured out there like that, even if it's in good intentions, and okay, all that energy is fueling those type of beings. That's the energy that they want. They expect that. They expect it, and everyone falls for it every single time. They expect that kind of energy. So change it up. Do it a couple times. Try it. Okay? So that's about it for tonight. Again, I have an event in case you haven't got hold of it yet. So I have an event. It's called Supernatural Worlds Universal Event. It's on June 10th. The event page is up now. If you haven't been invited, I will invite all of you. It's been posted everywhere. You could go to my Facebook page, Rising Planet, if you like. It's posted there. That's where the event is happening. It's a YouTube live event. I decided to do that actually today. So I hope you guys can come to it, participate, ask your questions. On the event page, you'll notice that there is posts of the articles that I'll be talking about. If the guys wanted to come on to the event, just let me know a day in advance. Just drop your email, and then I'll add you in when the event starts. 15 minutes before the event starts, or maybe 20 minutes, okay? Up to 4 people, if that's all right. More the merrier, but up to 4 people. If you want to add people in yourselves, because when you're on the event, you can do that. That's up to you. But other than that, I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful weekend, and hope it's beautiful where you are. I know it's good. It's a beautiful day here, and much love and light, and time to kick ass. You know, we talk about love, so let's kick ass, right? Because, you know, we all have to warrior up. You know, that's what the 13-year-old Indigenous girl said at the UN about the waters. She comes from Canada. Actually, she comes from Ontario, Montaloon Islands, and she told the UN leaders to warrior up. Hi, Morris. How are you? And so, yeah. And it's time to warrior up, right? And do what needs to be done, because this planet and the next generation and our survival depends on it. So thank you for listening in, and I love you guys. Be safe everywhere. Be in a constant state of prayer, and do the right thing. And don't forget, Americans, you better watch your back with Meghan and Harry, because that's a sign that you're in the British laws. Oh, you guys always have been anyway. That's where that's where your Constitution came from anyways. But you don't know what it's like being under the Queen's laws. So that's a fair warning, is to warrior up, because that is going to be your challenge now. It is our everyday nightmare here in Canada. Okay, so warrior up. Okay, seriously, because we have so many children that are gone, literally gone for life. We have so many people disappearing here in Canada, especially within the Indigenous community. If you don't think that that Queen will come into your country, because she's not allowed in our country anymore because of the trial that went on with the 50,000 children missing, Indigenous children, which you can watch it on YouTube documentary. So warrior up, because America, you're in a lot of trouble from that marriage. And I don't know, you guys should have been awake. And it's kind of disappointing, because you guys are loud when it comes to, you know, Canada is a type that likes to sweep things under the rug kind of thing. But now, America, you got to be smart, because she's good at what she does. And you should allow the royal family to be in your country, because every time, I'll give you another advice, another warning, that every time a royalty comes into your country, that's one child or maybe 10 children that are gone missing and not reported. We know this. I know this because it happens all the time here in Canada. So that's an awareness for you, Americans, to wake the hell up. Stop with your race card bullshit because it's too fucking old right now, and do what needs to be done, because now that there's a marriage between America and the British again. You have you guys haven't been under the British rule since King George, but you haven't seen the British rules with Philip, Charles, and Elizabeth, and they're wicked people. You guys may talk about them and stuff like that, but you have no idea the experience. So warrior up, because that's your next challenge. Much love and light. I'm going to head out now. If you have any questions, you can ask now, or else I'm just going to close out. And I wish you guys much love and light, and stay safe. And I hope you guys come to my event. I will share it on the comments here. I forgot. Oh, no. I did share it. Did I? Probably not. Anyways, I'm going to get off this now. Bye. See you next time.